Talk is online. News Talk is a production of peltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet. With more than 4 million unique users, I'm your host, Gary Baungarten. Well, today my special guest is financial consultant Kathy Boyle. So many of you have been telling us that you wanted somebody to come on and tell you how to manage your money in these very troubling and trying times. And so we coerced Kathy to come on the show, and she graciously agreed to join us. Kathy is president of Chapin Hills Advisors. She is a frequent contributor to CNBC, so you may recognize the face. She will help you with any financial planning issues you may face. And Kathy's especially adept at helping women entering the workplace for the first or second time. After spending 15 years working in both large and small brokerage firms and finally being acquired by a bank, Kathy decided to launch her own firm. She wanted to provide a service that she would want if she were the client. In addition to being on CNBC's Power Lunch and Market Watch programs frequently, you can see her on Fox News Your World with Cavuto, NBC's Nightly Business News, Bloomberg Radio and Personal Finance shows, and ABC Business Week TV. And Registered Representative Magazine profiled her for her success in building her business through networking. Kathy has also been interviewed extensively for many publications, including the Wall Street Journal, Crane's New York Small Business Journal, the Chicago Tribune, the Journal of Financial Planning, LE Magazine, Financial Planning Magazine, and Research Magazine. But this is the pinnacle of your media appearances. You're on News Talk Online on peltalk.com. Welcome to the show.
Nice to be here, Gare.
It's good to have you here, and I'm glad that was it. You know, I mean, if there were any more people that were talking about you in the news, we wouldn't have time to talk to you. I mean, that's a pretty extensive list.
I'm a ham.
You are a ham. So what is the biggest issue that people seem to be coming to you about in these times when there's such uncertainty in the market? There's uncertainty in real estate. We were talking at lunch today. A group of us went out to lunch, and it used to be that you would always, for I don't know, a gazillion years now, get equity out of your real estate investment. People don't buy homes; they buy investments when they purchase homes. And now that has at least leveled off in some areas of the country. It has gone into a decline. So, what are people coming to you and saying, Kathy? What kind of suggestions are they asking from you?
Well, Gary, that's good. Good question. There's two kinds of people that we deal with. One, on the financial planning side of the business, we deal with everybody. Every regular person, couple starting out and want a budget, young girl just moved here from Seattle, wants to buy her first home. Can she do it? How long? How much money? ... Will she qualify? Does she have a credit rating that's good enough? We also get people who are in debt. How do I get out of debt? Some people can barely afford our financial planning fees, but we feel that it really makes a big difference in their life if they follow our advice. And the other people are worried about the market. Do I have enough? How's my money doing? How can I get the best rate of return? So those are the kinds of concerns that we're seeing right now.
And I guess with the baby boomers now reaching their golden years, that's a big issue because a lot of them many of them don't have children, or they've divorced, and the children may not feel the affinity for one parent or the other in terms of helping them through their senior years. They haven't squirreled away enough money because they've been spending it as quickly as they've been getting it in order to enjoy fast cars and fast men and fast women and fast times. Huge houses, which I've never quite understood why people need. One person or two people in a house need,
6,000
I was going to say even 4,000. It seems to me to be large. Yesterday, coming back with my son from camping in Pennsylvania, we stopped for a bite to eat, and here comes, it's like the hottest sports car. I forget what it is. It wasn't a Maserati, but something like that. A little two-seater car, and here comes the guy with his probably 6-year-old daughter. So it's obviously the wife got the house and the dog, and he got the girlfriend in the car. And on the weekend, he's tooling around with. But I mean, the day is going to come when he's not going to have. Maybe he will, but a lot of people, they haven't put money aside.
Right. 58% of baby boomers do not have enough saved for retirement. That's 78 million people times 58%. That's a large number. And the analogy I love is the pig and the python. As the pig moves through the python, you can see it changing the course of as it gets digested in the snake. Similar with the baby boomers, as they go through the landscape, they change things. So what happened in 1980s when they really hit the workforce? 401ks were born, and boom, really blew up, and that's part of what drove the market up. Housing market went up. Back in the 80s, you could roll your home over, and as long as you rolled your home over into an equal or greater value, you kept pushing the tax, push the tax, push the tax. So all through the 80s into the 90s, baby boomers just kept going into bigger homes. I remember when I started in the business in the 80s, going into big homes in a wealthy area in Connecticut, and there's no furniture. We have no place to sit. We're on boxes inside the living room. They didn't just move in. So great big McMansion, a little plot of land in the right zip code.
Oh yeah, well I know people like that, and their explanation is less is more when it comes to furnishing a home. You know, less is more.
That's because their more is on their credit card.
Mm-hmm. So with the financial instability that we are seeing right now in this country and elsewhere in the world, I mean, it is a world economy, and that's part of what's going on here. I mean, we're not building things in the United States any longer. That's all offshore. We're providing services, we're providing technology, but we're not building brick and mortar like we did before.
China is.
China is. Well, China, I'm not worried about China coming over here with guns. I'm worried about them, killing us economically. I think that's probably what's in their plan. They've as much said so. What's going to happen to the economy in the future? I mean, after the baby boomers, the birth rate declined, so we don't have as many people contributing to Social Security, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, how do we sustain?
We've got a number of factors working. We changed from a manufacturing economy to a service economy. Mm-hmm. The birth of the 401ks was very clever by corporate America. What they did is they shifted the burden for your financial future, for your retirement, from them to you. So 401ks are your main means of retirement. I read something this morning, 68% of the affluent, 60-year-old, 1 million investable assets or up, are counting on their homes as part of their retirement. So if the home value suddenly does start to go down, or even sideways, many people are going to be upset. And then the HELOCs, the home equity loans, people have been funding everything with that, from $58,000 private school tuition in New York City to paying off the credit card debt that they ran up, and then the credit card debt just comes right back in. So I am very concerned about the average American. The price of gas, the price of food, all of that is going up much more than the inflation numbers that we're looking at.
And if I have less expendable income, I'm buying less stuff. If I'm buying less stuff, I'm not stimulating the economy, and I'm not paying the kinds of taxes so now they try to squeeze taxes out of me another way. I mean, they keep looking for a different way. I live in New Jersey, and Corzine, the governor of New Jersey, who came from Goldman Sachs, he was the chairman of Goldman Sachs. You think he would know how to balance the budget? His plan now is to double the tolls on, and these were probably temporary tolls supposedly to begin with. Like the income tax was temporary.
Right.
So
they have a dual goal there. Mm-hmm. Bloomberg tried to do this, stop the city traffic as well,
right.
Cut down emissions, cut down on some of the congestion that we have in the cities, period. So it's part of the modus operandi behind that.
Kathy, they didn't build a public transportation system.
I'm
People
not
are
defending
forced.
them.
They're
I'm not
forced.
defending
They're
them.
forced to drive